And also tonight, in the future of everything, how many of us are going to ChatGPT or another chatbot for advice, counsel, or even just to vent? Well, a new article from the New York Times is highlighting growing concerns about chatbots that push users into a, quote, delusional spiral. What exactly does that mean? Well, it happens when the chatbot gets pulled into a feedback loop with the user, reinforcing false beliefs, and it is raising major safety questions when it comes to people using chatbots for support. And clinical and forensic neuropsychologist Dr. Judy Ho is here to help us make sense of it all. Dr. Ho, let's start with why people would turn to chatbots to confide in the first place. Do you think it is cost, convenience, or is it somehow related to people just not liking the answers that they are getting in the real world and then hoping a chatbot will give them something that maybe fits what they want to be true?
Well, Allison, I think it's a combination of all of the things that you said. And also sometimes people have embarrassing questions. They have things that they don't really feel ready to talk to someone about, not even people in their inner circle. And it feels like it's a confidential way to talk to some kind of entity that represents a human being. Of course, we know that there's not actual guaranteed confidentiality, but it can feel like it's safer for a lot of people. Chatbots are also so fast. So in our modern day, we're so used to things happening at our fingertips, and that allows us to get quick responses on our time.
So when it comes to mental health care, things like therapy, cost can be a really big barrier for some people. So what should people do if they want help, but traditional therapy is not financially feasible for them? Should they just avoid an AI situation entirely, or is there a way to do it safely?
Well, I think that it's really important to remember, as much as AI does start to emulate the even kind of speaking style of a human, that it's actually not a human. It's not a trained professional. Unbelievably, when I sometimes talk to ChatGPT, it'll say something like, when someone comes into my office, as if they're a clinician, we have to remember they're not a clinician. This is a computer software. This is a type of program. And so if you want to ask it for casual advice, that's fine, but that is not a substitute in any way, shape, or form for mental health care. A couple of good tips for lower cost mental health care and sometimes free mental health care is contact your local university or college. Oftentimes they have a community clinic that is staffed by advanced master's students and doctoral students training and being supervised by licensed clinicians, and you can get lower cost services that way. Also check out NAMI, National Alliance of Mental Illness, NAMI.org. They oftentimes have free and low cost resources around varying parts of the community, and you can search by zip code and area that you live in.
So in that New York Times article we mentioned earlier, one user who says they entered into a quote unquote delusional spiral wrote this, quote, "This has made my mental health 2,000 times worse," end quote. Are there any healthy ways to use these chatbots to prevent these delusional spirals? And if so, would that be from a user standpoint, or does the tech maybe need to change as well?
I think it has to be both the tech and the humans changing the way they interact with it. Right now, the chatbots are designed to essentially be more acquiescent to the human who is giving them the commands or the questions. So this is how the delusional spiral happened, because oftentimes if you do use a chatbot, you'll notice that they're very complimentary. They think all your ideas are brilliant. Everything that you're doing is wonderful. And you can get into that trap of, it feels so good. Let's just keep going. This is making me feel great, even if the information that you are feeding it is inaccurate to begin with. And so I think that oftentimes we have to remember, check the chatbots work. I have a lot of students at the university where I teach where they'll use chatbots to start a research study, just kind of thinking about what kind of studies are out there about a specific topic. And then sometimes the chatbots will actually dream up citations that don't even exist. So you got to click on each link and actually look at the study to see if it's actually saying what the chatbot is saying. So just have that healthy level of skepticism. Always check the chatbots work. And the chatbots do adapt. So if you say, hey, you made a mistake here, they do start to improve a little bit in terms of their accuracy. It's never going to be a fail-safe. You always have to check it, but you can give it feedback, and sometimes that helps.
Really great advice. Dr. Judy Ho, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.